Magic Mike Show, where you hear the experts speak. The Magic Mike Show. Tune into the show every week. The Magic Mike Show. You can trust the show is the bomb because it's being brought to you by RacingDudes.com.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Magic Mike Show. I told you I'm making it my own this week. We're not doing that. I'm Magic, your Samich thing, but
and I'm Mike.
How are you doing?
I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good. I can't wait. Look, you're the host here. I'm just here to add context, give you some winners, right? So this is your show. Yeah. I'm just along for the ride.
And don't forget it.
Yeah. How could I? How could I possibly forget that?
Well, listen, it was a heartbreak last week for me. I was alive going into the single. You told me not to single, and the single didn't win. So I was alive going into that last leg, so that was exciting.
We got 4 out of 5. 4 out of 5 at Keeneland pays something, so at least you got a little bit of money back, although I'm guessing it's not much based how that played out. Can we talk about the stakes race, the Jenny Wiley?
Yes.
The 2 should not have come down, don't get me wrong, but the 1 should have won that race.
Agree and agree. Yeah, agree with you. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was one of those things. It just felt too close to take him down. Like if you took the 2 down, I don't think there would have been like chaos.
No,
but you did kind of leave that going. You know what? The Chad Brown, excellent truth horse. That's a pretty good horse. That horse will be good down the road. Yeah.
I mean, Choice ran very well. Don't want to take anything away from Choice, who I thought I was against and ran awesome. Excellent Truth was the better horse, and the horse I'm more interested long-term as well. Once we get to Saratoga and to those grade 1 races, I'm sure we'll see her in as well.
It was one of those races, too. When I watched it live, I thought, yeah, good win. And then it really took the head on to look at and go, wait a second. There's something to this here. What did you think? Did you think they were going to take it down when you were kind of in the midst, or were you just like, nah, I don't think they're going to?
So I was not able to watch it, like the full-fledged watch it. Like I had it on a second screen, but not able to really tune in. I couldn't tell if the 7 was part of the problem. Yeah. And that's when, like, if I can't live on the race, it looked like the 2 and the 7 both moved in and out, right? But I couldn't really tell who was. I didn't see the head on. So it was hard for me, like, based on just the race, I thought the 2 stays up because I didn't think it was solely the 2's fault that there was trouble there. And that's what makes these so hard, because you're going to have different people see different things on a lot of these inquiries, and you really have to get the head on, and then you have to make the decision, okay, was it really that drastic by the 2 that cost the race? I thought it was more a combination. I thought the 7 actually came in a little bit more than the 2 came out, and you can't really blame the 2 for that, right?
Yeah, I think that's where I was with that, with it as well. Magic was texting me. He said the studio there was completely split. Like they were arguing over it. And I kind of felt more like you. It's like, I don't think this is all the 2's fault, you know? And so I was with you on that. Ed Burke, the 2 was the solo for him in that turf pick 3. So congratulations there. That was, I'm sure you were sweating bullets a little bit because it definitely was kind of one of those 50-50 calls. But we kind of had that race right, where it was just a situation where those 3 horses seemed to be the 3. They were there at the end. It was a good race, but like you said, a little bit of controversy, and I like the Brown horse going forward. And Nick's right. What's a Magic? Do we know anymore? I
don't know. I think it's the less good-looking person up there by the horse, but I'm not positive.
There's no question about that one. Mr. Costa Rica against Mr. FanDuel Studio. Let's see who's better there. That one. So, all right, Savage. Well, enough of that. Well, you know what? We should mention, I talked to Magic last week. Yeah. He claims he's coming back. We'll see. What do you think?
We set the odds last week. He's minus 250 to actually be on a show again.
Okay.
To full-time host again, he's like plus 140 to come back.
Listen, I don't know if I'm breaking any news, but I've heard he got a promotion, so to speak. So I don't foresee him. I don't think I'll ever see him again, let alone on this show.
What do you mean? He's gonna be at like the Breeders' Cup when we're there, except he's gonna be running around interviewing people,
right?
And like doing spots and everything, and we'll get like the hat tip while we're in the crowd and he's in the paddock or something.
Right. So he's not going to like down beers with us anymore. That's not going to happen.
I don't know if we're cool enough.
Yeah, probably.
I mean, when you can drink with Todd Schrupp, why would you drink with us, right?
I hit on that note. Let's get the writers up. We'll do a little bit of magic here. Let's call to the post. Let's see if I can find the video. We'll do it. Okay, let's do it. right, let's get rocking and rolling on the sequence here, Samich. We're going to go to Keeneland Saturday, April 19th. Races 7 through 11, that late pick 5. We're going to try it again. We'll try to get the job done. Race 7 will kick us off. 5.5 furlong allowance race on the turf. Field of 12. 3 also eligibles. All right, Mr. Samich, where are we going?
I think this is a fun sequence. I hate a couple favorites. I love one, which we're both going to single. I assume I haven't looked at your ticket, but that means that this is one of those where if we can dance through some raindrops, we can dodge the right favorites, dodge the wrong favorites, get home the right favorites in. We're looking good. I'm going to start out with a little bit of a price here. Give me the number 3 horse, Cloud Walker. Brennan Walsh, Jose Ortiz here, 6-1 on top, baby. I don't know if that's a good or bad reaction from you. Second off a layoff for a 4-year-old. If you've watched the show pretty much ever, you know I love that angle here. So you had a first effort that was on the synthetic. The horse ran meh, but there was not really, like, we haven't seen this horse on synthetic before. I'm willing to make excuses for that specific effort. What I love here is if you just isolate the Keeneland sprints, turf sprints. So first race of the career, breaks the maiden here, jumps right up to N1X allowance, off a layoff, Pratt rides, horse ends up running a pretty good third there to a next out winner. 3 back. Returns to this Keeneland turf course, runs a career high buyer, gets the win there over Moonlight Lady, who's in this race as well. Now you're getting second off a layoff. You've got a big time jockey. The horse loves the course. The pace sets up very well for someone to be able to close into it. I think it's all systems go here for Cloud Walker. 6-1 top pick to start us off, Aaron.
I don't know if you've rubbed off on me or what. And we kind of sold this last week. It's like, hey, we disagree a lot. Same pick, same top pick. Unbelievable. I know.
You're killing me, man. Stop copying my stuff.
Oh, listen, that's the other thing. Like, you show up 1 minute and put it in. I put it in the morning like a professional. No, listen, all seriousness.
I'm used to having this room show up 5 minutes before we go on air. Okay. I'm not used to the room being there for hours prior to it.
Okay. That's more than fair. All right. So anyway, it's fun to make fun of him because he's not here. But anyway, the 3 Cloud Walker, that's who I put on top. Same kind of thing for you. And the biggest thing is the first thing you pointed out. Second off the layoff, second race as a 4-year-old, getting back to the surface you want. I don't really know. Maybe they decide, we'll take a little swing here in a little stakes race and see what happens. Last time out at Turfway Park, this horse is going to run better over the turf. There's no question about it. Also, Jose Ortiz gets aboard. I thought that was a good sign that he jumps aboard this horse. A lot of top jockeys are not here because they're at Oaklawn. So I think Ortiz maybe he could have had a choice between a few. He chooses this one. So yeah, I like the 3 as well. The second horse on the ticket for me was the number 7 Pipsy. I thought about putting this horse on top, then I saw who the rider was and I saw what the distance of the race was. And so I got a little bit scared there. This horse though does have early speed. That may not stop Rosario from rating off the speed, but I do think this is another one, first race as a 4-year-old coming off the layoff, though. We don't have that prep race, so to speak, for this, but I thought Pipsy was a pretty darn good horse last year, running in some tougher races. I think this is a really good starting off spot for the 7. So 3-7 were my first 2.
Yeah. Just boring show. Give me the 7 in second. Despite Rosario being aboard, I agree with you. I think Pipsy has a chance to take a step forward here. Rosario has ridden once in the past. That was a Kentucky Downs, went right to the lead. I do think this horse's best chance is to try and go gate to wire. There is other speed in here, so please, Joel, don't choke this one back. Let Pipsy go. But Walden as well, one of those trainers which I don't think gets enough pub, doesn't have as many horses out there as you expect. This is going to believe the 7th starter because there was one today for Walden as well. Got a win at Keeneland. Very good trainer out of the gate. Very good smaller barn. I think this horse is going to be ready to go right out of the gate here. So I have Pipsy in second as a gate to wire threat.
Well, all right. Let's see if we can make it 3 for 3. Look, I got a little bit of a long shot. I'd be shocked if maybe not. But what about the number 1 BG Warrior? I thought this horse was very interesting. I've got this horse in third, 15-1 on the morning lines. We're getting a little bit of price involved here in this one. This is a horse, draws the rails, should get the lead, in my opinion, with the rail draw. I think the horse was drawn outside, maybe not, but with the rail draw, I think just tries to shoot this horse to the front, gets back to the turf. I think that's the best surface for this horse, even though we've had 4 races there at Turfway. May have just, hey, we're here, it's winter. Let's just run him here, and then we'll run her here, and then we'll get her back to the turf. You look at the past performances, there's some races on the turf that make her competitive in the spot. I like Brissett, like I said. Machado aboard. Yeah, maybe not the best in the world. But again, a lot of these top jockeys are gone this weekend. Big thing for me, been the last workout, I should say, pretty darn good here at Keeneland. This horse could be ready to run big at 15-1. I thought from the rail, gets to the front, might be tough to pass. I put the 1. Did you tell me you didn't use the 1?
I used the 15-1 shot.
Okay.
But it is not the 1. My price here, give me the 9 horse, or Au revoir, who we've seen in a bunch of these different races. But this is a horse that, to me, you kind of have to fight through some of the mess that is on the form. So you've got the last 2 races, 5.5 at Fairgrounds. This horse doesn't exactly love Fairgrounds, so I'm willing to push those 2 aside. I'm going to, again, go back and focus on the Keeneland races here. The Giants Causeway, grade 3, 84 buyer, 5.5 furlong allowance, ends up running third in there, 85 buyer. This is a horse that's won at Keeneland before, that likes this 5.5 furlong distance at Keeneland. And because you've got the fairground races and you've got some dirt races in the middle and you've got some Hawthorne turf races, a lot of things kind of get in your way when you're looking back to exactly why you would bet this horse. To me, this is a situation where you can kind of look past some of the issues with the horse and focus specifically on those Keeneland efforts. And that gets you to a situation where I can pinpoint a couple races that are good enough to compete, if not win, against this field here. Again, I think the trip is going to be right. I do think we're going to see some speed. You've got the 1, you've got the 6, you've got the 7. All of them want to go. I think that sets it up for someone to be able to come a little bit off the pace here. So Au revoir here. I believe it's Au revoir, right? Going to be the 3rd pick for me with the 9.
We're going to go with that. We don't have Magic here to correct us, so I think that's probably right. Yeah, I get it. I thought about this horse for a little bit, and you're right. A muddied up form, but when you look at, again, kind of like with the 3, same way with the 9, you single out just the Keeneland races. This horse looks a lot better on paper, so I'm with you there as well. All right, I used one more. I went 4 deep. I think you went 4 deep as well, and it was the 4. 4 was the last horse on the ticket here. Look, in pretty decent form, a couple of good races back to back here, one on synthetic, then one on the turf at Gulfstream Park. The last race at Gulfstream, the Captiva Island Stakes, I thought ran pretty well. I just can kind of see a similar trip this time out. Still got 3rd in that one, though, so it's a little concerning, but I think it's a little bit easier of a spot. So I think we'll kind of just stock the pace and, we'll kind of be the one that gets first run on the leaders. Who else did you use?
I use the 4. I agree with you. I think this horse has the trip that you want, right? Where you don't want to be way out of it at Keeneland. It's nice to be closer to the pace. The 4 should be closer to that pace, should be able to close into. Eponia's Hope, very good horse down there at Gulfstream Park, specifically at 5 furlongs over that turf. Tough to beat her there. So I think this is not an easier spot, but you're getting away from a horse that is very, very good over a specific course. So it sets up that you could expect runs a little bit better. Don't mind Dettori here for Clement. Happy this one isn't Rosario. This would be like the stereotypical horse I don't want Rosario on, where you're not getting the lead. But I think the 4 has a legit shot here at 7-2. Morning line favorite. I was kind of surprised by that. Again, I handicapped without looking at the odds first. I thought I was expecting that we were going to see Pipsy actually as the morning line favorite, or possibly Bling out there in the 11 hole for Victoria Oliver.
Yeah, I thought Be My Sunshine may be a horse too that might be favored after a couple races cutting back. But yeah, no, it'll be interesting to see how this thing's actually bet as well. Mm-hmm. Because I'm with you, like Pipsy kind of seems like the favorite-ish in my mind. But yeah, we'll see what happens there. So, all right.
Be My Sunshine. Any interest at all?
On time form, this horse at 1 mile and a 16th has run races faster than all these other horses. But the problem is I just search and search. I'm like, where have I see any races similar to this? I don't.
Yep.
And then it's like, I look at the pedigree and go, I don't really think this horse is a turf sprinter.
Yep.
So I couldn't get there.
It's just tough on the cutback, man. When you're going 1 mile and 3/8 and you're 8th or 9th of 9,
yeah. What
are you going to be when you're sprinting a Keeneland? It's just such a different ask from this horse than what we've seen in the past. That it's one of those where, like, if Be My Sunshine wins, won't be shocked. We'll never have it because of the setup and the switching of distances. Like, if Be My Sunshine had been showing speed at 1 mile and 16th or speed at 1 mile and an 8th, totally different conversation here. But the fact that you are off 50-second paces means that it's going to be hard for you to keep up early here to be able to get the job done. Real quick here, saw this one just come in. Chris Maiello, he is coming to us from a TGA Fridays in the Atlanta airport. Aaron, question that I think you'll be an expert on here. TGI Fridays or Chili's? Which one?
Oh, I'd go Chili's. I'd go Chili's in that debate. I still think Chili's a little bit better, but I will say TGI Fridays, they're getting few and far between. So if you see one, get your buddy Nick Severs and get Mike Somich and go to one immediately, because you got to, there's not many left, but I would go Chili's. What about you?
I would go Chili's as well, although
Okay.
I do like a TGI Fridays. I got to say, the wife and I, we were at Monmouth and for the Haskell a couple years back. I hadn't been to a TGI Fridays in a long time, and there was one across the street from our hotel. Had a phenomenal time. Had a blast. A lot of fun. Don't be snobbish about the TGI Fridays and the Chili's and the Outback. You have a good time in some of those spots.
I had a great time the last time with you guys, and Doc Tang's dad was there, I believe, as well. So that was very cool. Very cool moments for sure there in Chicago. All right, let's go on to the next race. Be race 8 on the card here at Keeneland. You kind of hinted we might be going short here. It's allowance race going 1 1/8 on the dirt. Field of 10, big favorite of the 5, just a touch. Is that where you're going, Mr. Somich?
Yeah, look, I don't see another horse that can go sub 24. And if there's no other horse that can go sub 24, that means Just a Touch gets to go 24 seconds to the first quarter mile. If Just a Touch is going 24 to the first quarter mile and not catching pressure, I don't see how Just a Touch doesn't get the 1 1/8, right? That to me is the biggest issue here. Skinner to me, the most interesting horse. If I'm trying to beat Just a Touch, that's the second pick in this race. That means I'm never going too deep. When I'm playing a 6-5 on top, I'm not using the second pick. I'd want to be using like a 15-20 to 1 shot. Like Parchment Party, maybe, if I was trying to go to like blow this up and go too deep. But Skinner here in this spot, like, hasn't been great over the last 2. Probably a drop in class here for Skinner. But we haven't really seen this horse run as well as we saw in California for the Cherie DeVaux barn yet. And this is just not the spot where I feel like I have a loose horse on a speed favoring track that you're going to have to try and beat. So single to 5, Just a Touch for me. Unfortunately, wish I could try and get around this one, but I think that the morning lines are correct here.
It's one of those problems too, where it almost feels like this is, quote unquote, too easy for Just a Touch, too easy to be true. Somebody's going to come mess it up, because that's the thing. And I think there's 2 aspects of it. It's okay, here's a favorite, and he looks better than these other horses. And so I don't know about you, but like the first thing I do when I handicap, I go through and, okay, talent level of all the horses. Okay, yeah, he's the best horse. Okay, now how's it going to set up? Can we beat this horse? And then you look at the setup and go, much the best as far as a setup is concerned. At that point, you do have to just throw your hands up. You got one of 2 things. You get creative and you pray the horse doesn't show up, which it's horse racing, it could happen, or you single and you move on. And for me, it's like, okay, why wouldn't this horse show up? If the horse wasn't going to show up, to me, it would have been last time, coming off a long layoff, and the horse ran very well. Today gets the exact same setup as that race. I can't get around him.
Well, and the other problem is before last race, you run a career best 102 buyer, and you can let me know what time form says. Previous best number, going 1 1/8 to Keeneland, when we ran second to Sierra Leone in what was a very, very good race from Just a Touch. The horse likes the track. The horse likes the distance. The horse is in good form. You're second off a layoff. You would assume improvement here. It's one of those feelings where, it's tough to get around Just a Touch. And because it is, let's bring up another Chris Milo comment here. At what point are we have to take on the fact that Cherie DeVaux is actually getting overbet now?
I know.
Do you think we're at that point? Because she was my favorite trainer to bet for a long time, because she was getting underbet. There's consistent money coming on Cherie DeVaux horses now. Have we flipped the pendulum here, and are we going full bell curve here on Cherie DeVaux betting?
Yes. The secret, our little secret's out. It lasted a good 6 months, 6 to 8 months there, where she was just kind of in that perfect spot. She'd be 4 or 5 to 1, or even higher, and you'd just love it. But no, she is, and part of it is she's getting better horses, becoming more known, and part of it is like sometimes when you get better, you get better horses, or you get more horses but not better horses, and so like Skinner lands in your barn, he's just not that good. You know what I mean? And it's like, this is going to hurt her average or whatever. He's going to get taken money, but it's like, he probably just shouldn't take money.
And now it's figuring out when you want to bet her, right? So now you have to specifically dive into angles that she's good at, things that she does well. Also, like, she's 1 for 17 right now in the form at Keeneland, but she's got 7 seconds or thirds. So there's a little bit of racing luck inside the win percentages so far.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's racing, like Dennis points out, great fairgrounds meet, terrible Keeneland meet. That's racing. Remember when Asmussen had an unbelievable Saratoga meet and then didn't win a race at Keeneland in the fall? I mean, it's cyclical like that. It's really tough to continually win. All right. I was going to bring it up.
Let's
What's
say just
next?
touch Bromps. Yeah. Where is the next spot?
Well, I think it is a race like the Met Mile. I think that would make sense.
You don't think this is a classic horse for Cox, or do you think you stretch out later in the year?
I mean, the way the calendar falls, you kind of, your next start could be like the Pimlico Special at 1 3/16, which, timing wise, that would make sense. Or you could wait and try the Met Mile. But just timing wise, I think that would make sense. Either one of those. And then I think you go to Saratoga and you're you're on the Whitney path, right? I think that's kind of the cycle for good horses in that barn. You could also wait at Churchill and run in a race like the Stephen Foster as well. What do you
are you into this Whitney hype we're getting? We're like months away, and there's already the Fierceness, Sierra Leone, Torpedo Anna, Whitney hype that we're hearing. Do you believe it?
Listen, I'm in for any hype when it comes to Saratoga. So I love that place and I love that track. And I was there when they ran in the Travers. And if we can get that again anywhere in the country at any time, that'd be great. But if it's at Saratoga, even better. So I'm in on it. I'm totally in on it.
We're going to talk about tomorrow on VSiN at the Track, Torpedo Anna's her path, what she's going to do, because there will be a time this year she takes on the boys.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I feel like they're doing the same thing they did last year with her. Get your wins. Don't extend her, and then when we need her, she'll be there for us. So
best filly since Zenyatta?
No, I don't think so yet, but I think the potential is there, right?
Yeah.
You think of there's been some really good ones since Zenyatta. You think of like a Monomoy Girl. I don't know that she's there yet, but she's on her way, right? Yeah. And for as much as we kind of dog on McPeak for some weird spots, he has never made a mistake with this one. Not yet, at least. So
well, and he will take shots, which I respect him for. Yeah. He will put her against the boys in certain positions. And we saw Zenyatta first year, she wins the Ladies Classic, and then she jumps in and takes on the boys the second 2 years. And so you're seeing kind of a similar style from McPeak here.
Yep. I'm excited to see what she does. But all right, so both singling here. Let's get on. Before we get to Saratoga in August, let's keep going with our April races here at Keeneland. Not that we're trying to make that happen, Samich, but all right, let's go on. Race 9 on the card. It is the Elkhorn Stakes, $400,000 here. Grade 2 event. 1.5 miles on the turf, field of 12, one also eligible. I thought this was a very tricky race. So let's hear it, Samich. Who you like?
Who do I not like first? This is the favorite I'm chucking out. I respect limited liability. I do. I don't respect limited liability 8-5. And I do think this is the type of price that you're going to see on limited liability. I think a lot of people are going to lean on this horse in this race. I think this is one of those that gets overused. Limited liability just won for her last 7 from a win perspective. She loves hitting the board. Doesn't always love winning. And so I'm going to try and beat her here. And I'm going to start it out with the 1 Rebel Red on the rail here for our aforementioned friend, Cherie DeVoe. Jose Ortiz takes them out. I didn't even plan that, but here we are. 8-1 on the morning line. Based on the chat, I don't know if we're going to get it with Cherie getting over bet in these spots, but this is a horse which, if you look back and you look through the form, you've got a win going 1 mile and 8 at Keeneland. This is a horse that's stretched out well at Aqueduct, going 1 mile and 3/8, takes a break, runs back at the in the grade 2 at Fairgrounds, and that race was kind of on what? It was a drunk race. Can we say that? I mean, I'd rather be blessed. Wins the race at 80-1, back in this race at 20-1. Just one that I'm willing to throw out, especially for a first effort off the layoff. Now you've got a Frankel, a son of Frankel, right? Son of Frankel here. Lemon Drop Kid on the bottom. Distance isn't an issue. The turf shouldn't be an issue. We know this horse likes Keeneland. This to me is just one of those spots where if we can improve off what we saw late in that 4-year-old campaign into this 5-year-old season, Rebel Red is as good as, if not better than, limited liability from a numbers perspective, and I'm getting 8-1 instead of 8-5. Give me the rail here, Rebel Red, for my top pick. What about you?
Well, I used Cherie DeVoe for my top pick, and I used the 9, missed the cut on top. So here we go with these two DeVoe runners after they're getting over bet. But look, missed the cut, same kind of thing. Last time out was knocking the rest off of a 252-day layoff. Didn't run that great, but I think we'll move off that race big time. And look, 3 races back in the Elkhorn. This horse was second, beaten by Silver Knot. There is
Pretty
not
good
a
horse.
Silver Knot in this race. So, look, I think if DeVoe has this horse kind of back and ready to rock, I think the horse is going to be tough here. A pretty good workout last on March 28th there. So, look, I think the horse is going to show up ready to run. So I use the 9 on top. I use the 1 too. I've got Rebel Red used in this one as well. I went 4 deep. 1-9 were my top. I'm sorry. 9 was third because I do have the 2 Grand Sonata in second. So 9-2-1 were my top 3. Grand Sonata, I think just a really consistent horse. Longer the better it seems for this horse. Won a big race at Kentucky Downs last year, going a 1.5 miles, 1 3/8 last time out. Nearly got the job done. Got beat by Capture the Flag, who just ran excellent that day. But Grand Sonata ran a winning race. So those were the top 3 that I used.
Yeah, look, ran into Spirit of St. Louis the race before, was a little too far back, got pinched early. A lot of reasons to like Grant's not in this point. I'm using the 1, 2, and the 9 as well. I promise we are going to disagree on the 4th horse. On top of the 9, you didn't mention this, and all your points totally valid. Had always been close to the pace before last race. And last race got in some trouble early, was way back. I think that affected the effort here as well. I think you get a better trip from the 9 this time out. And Ed Burke just mentioned it, interfered badly last start. Yep. I completely agree with that. I think that was the reason you saw this horse in a completely different position than where we've seen miss the cut in the past. So I do like the 9 there as well. I was 1-2-9 as opposed to 9-2-1, but we're same 3 there. 4th horse for me, old friend of the show. Give me the outside horse here, Balnikov. 12 horse sitting at 8-1. I kind of went through a couple different ones I considered, but I landed here on Balnikov, who has won over this Keeneland racetrack before, 1-for-1, has run well at the distance, ran second going this specific distance, 2 back in the Hollywood Cup, lost to True Quality that day. Last time out in the Pegasus World Cup Invitational, I actually thought ran a pretty good race considering the trouble that Balnikov had in that spot. I like this 1.5 mile distance for this horse. If you go back and you look at the 1 3/8, ran a very good race in the Del Mar Handicap at that 1.5 mile, the Hollywood Turf Cup at Del Mar, ran very well there. And those are tracks where it can be tough to close sometimes over the turf course, and yet Balnikov able to do so. I think we get a nice price here on Balnikov as well. I think that 8-1, it sticks, if not floats up from this spot. So I'm going to go 1-2-9-12 to try and get through here.
Yeah, I thought Balnikov showing up here was a good race. It's a good spot for him. Nearly put him on the ticket. Gonna be mad if he wins, not gonna lie, because I do like that horse quite a bit. So, all right, yeah, we are gonna disagree. I did put limited liability on the ticket, 4th horse on. I know, stupid, right? If I like him 4th, I shouldn't put him on. But I just look. He has some races. These last 2 races, he really should have won the last one. Now, the problem is he didn't, right? And I understand that.
Times you can be like, well, he really should have won that race.
I know. But it just, I'm sorry. It just feels like he's here with a big shot in this one. The biggest thing for me, he always shows up. Like, I think if you're playing exactas and tries, you got to use him. But I get why you're chucking him in these kind of races because, yes, while he does always show up, it always just seems like there's 1 or 2 horses like, man, they just couldn't beat him today, The race 2 back I thought was really good. Beat Rebel Red, got second to Integration, who's he's a decent horse for sure. So that was a good race. And again, I thought the McKnight last time out, man, he ran really well. He put his head in front at one time and just couldn't hold on.
Wasn't interested.
I'm using him one more time.
Yeah, I mentioned the 1 win as well. That was at a 2+ mile race to Kentucky Downs where he never got past, right? We just got the lead and kind of kept going on a speed favoring track there. So it's like, I can't even point to a race where I'm like, yeah, I'm really excited about this specific win of his because it's been so long since this horse has won a race outside of that 2 mile race. I mean, going back to April 23, that was the last time this horse won. It was at Keeneland. It was going 1 1/8 miles. It was a $1.07 favorite that day against a field of 7. And it's like, it feels like someone's going to beat him. I agree with you. I think he runs in the try. I just don't really want to play an 8-5 shot on a ticket where I think I can go for someone else here. A couple prices that I looked at, the 7 Anglophile, the 4 Verstappen. Any interest in either of those or another big price on the list?
I almost use Verstappen on the ticket because I just feel like at 1.5 miles, the horse has the ability to show up and run big races. You look at the race 2 back. I know it was, Sam Houston and I don't even want to talk about that. It's so sad that we can't bet and watch those races, right? But ran really well going 1.5 miles, and back in the McKnight way back when ran pretty well, ran really well in the Red Smith way back when, so there are races there that make him competitive. At the end of the day, I left him off because he's just too inconsistent for me. He really is, but he's got races that make him competitive, no doubt.
Price that came the closest to making my ticket was the 10 horse Starting Over at 20-1.
Okay.
First time Brittany Russell barn here. She's 31% first time in horse in her barn. Now those numbers are skewed because it's not usually this style of race that is first time in her barn. And it's usually when she has the best horse. Let's just be honest. She has the best horse in a lot of those races that she runs in. But this is a horse that at 1.5 miles has multiple races you can point to that are very good races. I mean, the William M. McKnight at 41-1, 3 races back, ends up running second there, gets a 96 buyer. Colonial in the Colonial Cup, 5 races back. It's a 92 buyer, wins that day over Dinah Drive and McLovin. Would need to get a little better here. And Mike Maker training going to Brittany Russell, not spot where I'm confident you're going to see an improvement considering it's a long turf race. But Starting Over at 20-1, I think there are worse long shots on the board.
So that McKnight that I referenced it with Verstappen, and you just referenced it was Starting Over. That was 2024. That was won by Francisco Clemente, who was a really nice horse, ran a really big race that day. And your horse Starting Over, you just mentioned, like you said, was second there. So that yes, that is a race that if you can get back to that is good enough. You mentioned it. This will be interesting, right? Because Brittany Russell first timers are usually Bob Baffert leftovers that are running up at Laurel Park. Right. And they run
off a talent advantage.
Right. Yeah, exactly. This is not that. So this will be very interesting to see. But look, she's a good trainer. It'll be very interesting to see what she does with this horse. But I get it at 20-1, probably worth a shot. If you're going to go deeper than what we're going, I think that's one to look at as well. Yeah. Anybody else?
Nope. Those are the ones that jumped out to me. No interest in the AE, the 13, if we draw in there.
Okay. All right. Let's go to the race I hate the most. Race 10 on the card, the Ben Ali Stakes. Grade 3 event here, going 1 mile and 3/16, the Preakness distance for older horses, though, on the dirt. Field of 7 really, really questionable horses is how I will describe it. All right, Samich, what do you got here?
Questionable is a nice way to put it. Another one where I'm chucking the favorite. Look, the 6 Duke of Love, your favorite here at 5-2. I just couldn't do it, man. This is a horse that had basically a 2-year layoff between 2023 and the return to the track there, March 1st, 2025. That was going 7 furlongs. It's going to be the first time this horse has faced Stakes Company in 2 years. It's going to be the first time this horse has gone 2 turns in 2 years. I didn't think the debut coming back was all that good. Now, that being said, this isn't a great field, so I wasn't that far off having the 6 on the ticket here. Give me the 1 horse on top here. San Siro on the rail. Morales rides for Brennan Walsh in this spot. I spent a while trying to figure out the pace of this race. I also thought that was a little bit murky. The 2 clearly goes, but is there going to be pressure? Is there not? What happens? I think you see some token pressure from the 3 horse in this spot and possibly from the 6, depending on if we're using that sprint speed to stretch out or not. But I think what that means is that the 1 San Siro sits a beautiful trip in the pocket around both turns, sitting right behind what I consider Cheap Speed and Prince of Power, and gets first run. I like the price at 9-2. And in a race that I don't love, I'm going to try and go short to get through this. So I only went 2 deep.
I went 4 deep. I despise this race. I will say that. I put the 7 Uno Mas Bourbon on top, and I really can't remember a time where I've picked this horse, but
maybe that's good because he doesn't win very often. So
well, exactly. So here's what I looked at. Okay. Never ran 1 mile and 3/16, but I mean, rarely have they done it. Right.
Right. You can't knock him for that.
No, but no. My point is, okay, we've ran 1 mile and 1/8 3 times. Okay. 4 races back at Louisiana Downs, he won, but you better. Okay. And then you go to Keeneland.
To be fair, it was 3-1 that day. Not like this is a 20 cent on the dollar favorite. Not a great race, but not like it was 20 cent on the dollar favorite.
I mean, he beat the Donegal Clan and Regalo, so that was pretty nice win time, which I don't know what you're talking about.
Notches in the belt.
Right. Okay. The Fayette, though, 3 races back. 3rd beaten 4 3/4, got beat by Hit Show. Oddly enough, Dubai World Cup winner. I mean, I can't say that was straight face. And Ballsy, not too bad of a horse. Okay, goes to the Clark. The Clark was a pretty good race. Got beat by Rattle and Roll, Most Wanted, Hit Show. My point being is, look, those weren't overly great races, but they're better horses in those races for sure. That's in this one. So I kind of think he can kind of close the best out of all these. And I do think the 2, the 1, the 3, I kind of think they all are going to go a little bit. So I put the 7 on top in this one. Uno Mas Bourbon. We'll see what happens. I'm not going to be shocked if he doesn't run well, though. San Siro.
But the 7 is the other horse I'm using. I'm 1-7 here. Uno Mas Bourbon for me, the other one, for very similar reasons to what you referenced there, and specifically because of the Fayette. I think that's actually a little bit better race than what it looks like on paper. Was wide in the first turn after breaking from the inside, was way wide on the second turn. Like Hit Show, not the best horse in the world, but Hit Show's 1-5 against this field. Like, right?
Yeah.
I mean, so I'm willing to say that the 7 going to be able to. I think the 7 can get the distance based on the way that it's finished up in 1 1/8 races. So I was 1-7 here for a lot of the. I'd like the 7 for a lot of the reasons you referenced.
All right, so you're 1-7. I went 2 deeper than that. I did use the 1 and the 7. The 3 Tennessee Lamb. I went ahead and used the 3 Tennessee Lamb. I kind of feel like, okay, so I view it as the 2 is going to be kind of cheap speed. I just don't think the 2's holding on.
I agree.
I think the 3 will kind of go up there and be the first one to run at the 2 once the 2 starts to fade a little bit. You look at the race last time out. I know it was just a mile, and I know it was Allowance Company, but the horse ran pretty well that day. And then you look at the race 3 back. I know it was just a maiden special weight, but it was at the 1 3/16 distance, and he won pretty impressively. So I don't know how good he ultimately is, but there were enough good signs for me to go, if I hate everybody in the field, well, hell, this one has a win at the distance, has a pretty good win last time out over, I would say, just a okay allowance field. It could sit the trip that I really want him to sit. So I used the 3, and also Bitonalist, one of my favorite, my absolute favorite Belmont winner. So, that was enough for me. Did you think of the 3 at all?
I considered the 3. It's the hiking class, which is ironic because this is not a great group.
Right?
But the jump up in class to me was a concern, especially for a horse that took a while to break the maiden. It did come through and win at Gulfstream Park, going that mile you mentioned, but that's a 1-turn mile. And against a field that didn't look very good and was 7-1 against it. Like, there wasn't a world beater in there. And so I question what you beat in an N1X allowance at 25,000. And now you're stepping up here. And yes, we're making fun of some of this field. Every other horse is running a graded stakes that's in this field. And this is the one who's jumping up from an N1X allowance company after struggling to break the maiden and doing so at a mile distance for the win last time out. So there's just enough here for me where it's like, I agree that the 3 is a player. The 3 is someone I would use underneath.
Okay.
I didn't want to go 3-4 deep in this race that I really don't like very much, especially when I'm using a short price single in the previous race. And I hate this favorite. And so for me, this is just one of those where, I'd rather go short. I like the 3, the 4, and the 5, all in consideration if I was going 3 deep or 4 deep here. But for me, it was like, look, I hate the 6. It's a 7-horse field. I don't want to use half of them, especially since I'm singling a 6-5 earlier. Just give me the 2 horses I like the most.
Okay. Yeah. All right. We'll see. Well, hopefully you're right, because I'll be alive too if that's the case. Look, I threw the 6 on. I'm not gonna lie. Threw the 6 on. Look, they waited 546 days to run this horse. Surely they think this horse still has something left, right? I mean, the rust off last time out.
Fire and blanks, right? Like, this has to be a horse that just could not make it happen in the shed.
It has to be.
Right? This is a grade 3 winner. Yeah. Like, of all the mockery we're making here, this is a grade 3 winner.
Yeah. This is a horse that if he can get back to his game, he'll win. But I agree. It's like, can he do that? That West Virginia Governor's Cup, that's good enough to win this race, right? The Jockey Club that he ran in may be good enough to win this race. So we'll see. I threw him on there. What the hell?
You're not wrong about those 2 races possibly winning it. I'm just like, if this horse was 8-1, let's talk. At 5-2, it's just one of those where like, nah, I'll pass. And I'll be interested to see how this race gets bet as well, because I'm not convinced that the 6 goes off as your favorite.
Yeah, me neither. I think if I own the 6, well, it's my racehorse, so actually he probably will go off favorite. But if I'm owning the 6, I'm like, we just caught the easiest field ever. If he can't win here, just put him out in the field and let him be a horse. That's the way I would look at it.
Another gem here. Duke of Love being sterile is ironic. Did not even realize that.
No, I didn't even think about that. Wow, that's amazing. Good job, Christopher. That TGI Friday is rubbing off on you, no doubt. All right, let's quit messing around. Let's get to the last race here on the card. Hopefully we're alive and hopefully we cash this time. Race 11 here, allowance on the turf going a mile and 16th. Field of 12, 4 also eligibles here. Good race for sure. I think there's a lot of chances here. Who do you like in this one?
I'm going to go with the 7 Rothschild on top here. Stop me, you've heard it before. Second time out as a 4-year-old, so I do expect some improvement off a very nice effort there. First time out as a 4-year-old. Last time we saw this horse is at Gulfstream Park. Got a fairly good trip. Not perfect, but fairly good. That race, very, very fast. Mile and 132 and 4. Is a phenomenal time, especially after you go 6 furlongs in 109 and 3. This horse was able to be part of that closing speed, which I think is a definite positive here. Second off the bench, you get Velasquez to ride for James Toner. Toner 15% off this type of second off the bench race. You go back to last year. It was the Hollywood Derby. It was the Twilight Derby. It was the Nashville Derby. You go to the year before. We're talking the Grade 1 American Pharoah, Grade 1 Del Mar Future. There's a lot of back class to this 7 horse. And I do think turf is the right place to have this horse. And now you're in an N1X allowance race. Yes, it's a $120,000 one. Yes, it's a Keeneland. But there's a lot of things to like about this 7 Rothschild. They're now going to be second off the layoff. Also a little bit of tactical speed as well. So I'm going to start off with the 7 here, 9-2. Who'd you put on top?
Okay, so we're going to have the same on top pick, but I promise we're going separate ways big time after that. But yes, I do have Rothschild on top. I'll tell you this much. There was a ticket. My first go through, I singled this horse. I had a single in the second leg of the same one we have, and then I singled here, and I spread like crazy in the other ones. So I love all the points you made. At the end of the day, I just thought, you know what? I don't know. There's a couple other horses I really want to get on the ticket. I'm going to single the 5 in the second leg, so I'm not going to single here. But yeah, I like number 7 Rothschild to win quite a bit in this spot. I'll probably be betting a win wager for sure on this horse. As long as he stays, somewhere near that. I think we're going to get more like 3-1, but that's fine for me. I think that's about the price he should be. So I think he runs very well second off the layoff here too. And look, changing over to Toner, I don't. When we're running on the turf, that doesn't bother me at all. So yeah, same top pick for us. Now you're going to use what, 3 other ones? I'm only using 2 other ones. I'll let you go first. Who else are you using?
We'll go with the shorter price first here. The 8 horse then. Philip Antonucci sending this one out 1 for 1 here at the meet. I'm going to go with brother or husband, not sure which of the other Antonucci, who was able to win a Belmont there a couple years back. Not a trainer I use all the time, but this horse is just bred to absolutely love the turf here. It's Not This Time out of a Bernardini mare. Got the Giants Causeway influence on the top out of the Not This Time. Love that. Horse debuts for Belmont on the turf. I thought ran well in both of those first debut races. Switches over to this barn, goes to Gulfstream, runs over the synthetic, able to get the win coming from off the pace. Now that synthetic course, it plays toward off the pace horses. Then flips over to the turf course there at Gulfstream Park. And I think ran pretty good, but was a little tardy at the start, and you really can't close as much on the Gulfstream turf as you can the synthetic. So willing to kind of give a pass to then for that race. Now you're coming here off the bench, heading to Keeneland. This is, again, a small barn trainer, just 17 races so far in 2025. He's not wasting a bullet with what I'm going to go ahead and say is one of his best horses in the entire barn here at Keeneland if he doesn't think the horse is ready to roll. The numbers fit from a perspective of what this horse ran before the layoff to right now to be able to beat this group. So I'm going to put the 7 or the 8 then here in second.
All right. I went away. I did not go with the 8 on the ticket here. My second horse on the ticket was the 12 Ciro Di Marzio. That work? Yeah, that'll work.
Mm-hmm.
So the 12 horse here for me, 2 races here in the United States. I thought ran well both times. Got second, beaten a length 2 races back at Del Mar. Then Santa Anita last time out, 4th, beaten a length and a half. Look, I think this horse shows up here and is the speed. I think from the 12 hole, you just gun to the lead, try to take him gate to wire. We've seen Wesley Ward do that a million times here. So I thought the 12 could kind of get out there and control the early pace. Mike Smith going to ride. I don't know that I love that, but he's here, so we'll see. But I do think the 12 goes to the front. I went only 3 deep, so I'll go ahead and put my tell about the 3rd horse because it's the same kind of situation. The 11 is who I put as the 3rd horse on the ticket. I feel like the 11 and 12 are the 2 fastest early.
Agree.
I just kind of feel like it could be a situation. What if one doesn't break well and the other's out by itself? When there's only two horses, I really think have a lot of speed. I tend to try to use them because I just feel like just one little situation and you got a loose leader. So I think they're the two fastest. I use the 11 and 12. I don't love that it took the 11 9 starts to break the maiden. Talking about Beach Gold, don't love it. However, I do believe this is a horse that could get out to the front and try to take him gate to wire. So 7, 11, 12 for me. All right, who else are you using?
Yeah, if the 11 and 12 weren't in posts 11 and 12, I'd be a lot more interested.
Fair.
That's why neither of them made the ticket for me. It's just not easy to win on the front at Keeneland going a mile on the 16th unless you get loose. And I agree with you. I think if one of them doesn't break, they're both dangerous, whichever one does. But if they both break, I think they make life pretty tough for each other. And I do think you have some other speed to the inside, be it the 4-horse Rocky Joy or somebody else that at least tries to hold the rail, which forces them to the 2 and 3 path, which then makes us a little more hairy here, depending on what we see. For me, third place, mentioned in the channel here, Dennis Trusty.
Yep.
Like in the English channels as they get older, I agree with you. Give me the 2-horse English Channel here at 6-1 on the morning line. This is a horse that has been running at fairgrounds, broke the maiden last start, but this horse has just gotten better with every single start. And do I love a maiden first time against allowance horses? No, I don't. But another one that should sit a very nice trip here with the rail, has some early speed that you cannot be completely in the back of the field. And at the same time has shown that kick as we've gotten older that can actually close up some ground. We talk about the light bulb angle where a horse has been a maiden for a little bit, then wins a race, turns the light bulb on. I mean, this was only the 5th effort for a 4-year-old by English Channel. We've seen English Channels get better as they get older consistently. So this is another horse that I think is a logical horse to take a step forward. And I like the price here at the 6-1 number. And then final horse on for me here, the 9 Ascari. And Ascari is one where, first off, like the price here at 10-1. This is a horse that started in the Pletcher barn, started on the turf at Monmouth, able to get a win, ran a very nice buyer first time out, jumps into N1X Allowance Company there, ends up running third in that race, then flips over to Christopher Davis, who I think is a very capable trainer, ran a really nice race, 2 back, go at the $50,000 claiming level at Turfway Park. We've seen these type of horses from Turfway do well at the Keeneland meet. We've seen Turfway horses do well generally across the board. I like the price here, especially for a horse that's shown the ability to run big numbers. It's not just that first number where you see the 80 buyer first out. You've got the 89 at Turfway Park as well. There's just been consistency where you have the chance to pop a big race with this 9-horse. And when I see a horse like that for a trainer that I do respect, I don't mind taking a 10-1 shot in a race that I think is pretty wide open.
I looked at that horse quite a bit. I think getting back to the turf, kind of like what you mentioned, I think that's gonna be okay for this horse, and just went a little too far, last time out. I'm with you on that. So I think the 9 makes sense. The 2 English Channel, that was, if I was putting the 4th horse on, that would be the horse. I'm with you. Like I kind of the same way with the 11. I don't like that it took, several starts to break the maiden, but the maiden win was good, and it only took 5 versus 9 at the 11. The numbers I look at on time form, this horse is just a little slow, but that's not the end all be all. That's just one tool. Right. But that was kind of my cutoff. I just don't know if that horse is fast enough, and, going to have to take a little bit of a jump up today. So, but I don't mind that one. From
a buyer perspective, the 3 best horses are 7, 8, 9.
Okay.
Now, the 10 is, or the 12 is somewhere in the mix there, right? But I also don't fully I don't fully trust buyers. It's funny because I handicap using buyers, but I also throw races out where I think that a buyer is false.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, nope, just draw a line to. There's a horse at Keeneland today where it ran 6th and got a 79 buyer in a stakes race and never run above a 61 in any other race. That's a faulty buyer. It's higher because it's a stakes race and who else was in the race. So you got to be able to kind of sift through it. And so it's not an end all be all for me, but I did find it interesting that the 7, 8, 9 kind of not head and shoulders above the field, but clearly the best 3 from a buyer perspective.
And I'll before we read our tickets, I'll piggyback off that. I think no matter what number you look at, whether it's buyers or time form or even Thorograph, they all have their faults, and you have to be mindful of that. And so what I would recommend anybody do, if you're gonna look at speed figures, use one and get to know when you see a faulty number, like what Samich was just saying, right? Know when you can see that and identify that. A lot of times people use all these different numbers, but learn one number first and realize, because time form, what I've noticed with them, sometimes horses that are on the lead get higher numbers that are horses that are from the back. And it's probably just more mathematically how they kind of equate to them. Maybe their equation favors speed horses. So you just kind of look at that and you adjust, right? And once you kind of use them for a month or two, you do get to see those kind of things. So I think that's very important to point out. And like you said, a big thing is, hey, you run 8th behind a horse that had a freak race. Well, just naturally, you have to get a higher number. Just make sure they've earned that number when they finished first or second, maybe somewhere, So
yeah, if your top number is finishing 6th in a stakes race,
yeah,
just throw out that number and look at all the other races and what's your top number outside of that, because that you are exponentially more likely to run one of your numbers prior to that than to rerun a 6th race stakes number, right?
Yep. Absolutely. Yep. Absolutely agree with that. So yeah. All right. Let's read the tickets. And there's one question I do want to get to, but let's read the tickets here first. Go ahead, Samich.
All right. I'll kick it off here. 50-cent ticket for me. Going to go 3, 4, 7, 9. Single up to 5 with 1, 2, 9, 12 with 1, 7 with 2, 7, 8, 9, $64 for 50 cents.
All right, I'm going to go 1, 3, 4, 7 with the 5, with 1, 2, 6, 9, with 1, 3, 6, 7, with 7, 11, and 12. $96. 4 out of 5 last week with the same structure. Let's see if we can go 5 out of 5 this week. All right, Christopher wants to know, before you guys sign off, hit us with what odds journalism is walking into the gate for Saturday in May.
I think this is going to be fascinating. I mean, I've talked about the Sandman aspect of this a couple times. I think that is going to play a difference in what price he goes off at. I think it's 3-1 or 7-2. I think it's that range. I don't think you can get a horse 2-5-2 with the money that Sandman's going to take, and the fact that you still have some of the Rich Strike effect going on here, where you're seeing a lot of these 50-1s just getting bet because they are 50-1. You have to realize that since Rich Strike won, you've had a 15-1 winner and a 21-1 winner. So people who are doing this are being validated because you're getting prices in these races, which makes you want to keep doing it versus being like, well, maybe I shouldn't just bet every long shot horse. So I do think it's hard to see a big price. And I think fair is probably around 5-2, 3-1 on journalism. And I think you get a little bit above that because of the money that's going to come in on Sandman, because of the celebrity factor, and the fact that I do think long shots still take money because of the Rich Strike factor.
Yep. Absolutely agree. I think 3-1. 3-1 is the answer. I think that's what he's going to be, and I think that's what you should expect. And I'm with you. I think that's the fair price. So if you're gonna, if you're gonna bet him, you're gonna have to think that's going to be right there, 3-1. I agree with you. All right,
real quick, does Pratt have a ride yet, Aaron?
He does, but the horse sits at 24th at the moment, so we'll see.
He's holding out for Baeza.
So here's what's interesting. I would imagine Publisher is his to have if he wasn't holding out for Baeza, because they've changed. Irad Ortiz is now on Publisher, and Pratt has committed to Baeza. Here's an interesting thing. Pratt is committed, and they have committed to take the horse there, even if he's not in the body of the field. It almost tells me that there's some buzz around the backside. There's going to be some defections.
Well, it's so important, though, to get in the body of the field, not be an AE for Baeza, because in AE, you're 20th, you're 19th, whatever it is, you're on the outside. You do not get a chance to draw to the middle of the field, right? So we'll see. They already shipped him. I think he left today to go to Kentucky. So he is on his way there or there already. So they want him to run. We'll see if he's able to get in the body of the field. If he is a definite player if he gets to be put into the draw.
Absolutely. Absolutely. He is. And we'll see what happens. We are a week and 2 days away from the draw, believe it or not. So that's going to be pretty damn awesome to have that out that early and be able to just kind of dissect that field for a whole week. So it should be fun. He's written for defections. We'll see what happens. I got one last question for you before we go.
Fire.
Are the Blues going to do it for us? Can we beat Winnipeg? Are you betting us to beat Winnipeg?
I don't think the line is right, so no. I wanted I plus 155 is the last one that I saw. That is too low. We should be like plus 170, plus 180. I got asked this question on VSiN today. Do you think the Blues are going to win? I said my heart says yes. My head says not to bet them. That's my feeling on it. Like I will be rooting for the Blues. I think the Blues have a very much a puncher's chance in this series. I don't think the price is right to actually get a bet in on them. If I was going to bet them, I would just bet them in 6, by the way. I think it's highly likely if they win the series, they win at home in St. Louis in 6, not in Winnipeg in 7.
Well, you're going to get a huge price. I would think that would be about what, plus 250, maybe plus 300.
Oh, it's going to be more than that. I think it's
Okay.
going to be like 5, 6 to 1. I'll check it right now.
Okay, yeah, check it out. Look, I think it comes down to Hellebuck. I think if he struggles, if he doesn't play well, I think the Blues will win the series. I really do, because I think the Blues will get good goaltending, and I think they will make it tough on Winnipeg. But I don't think we've got the depth scoring to win a series against Winnipeg. Anytime we just have so many young kids that are going to have to score, I just don't love that. I don't think our veterans can carry us through it. I think they're decent, but I don't think they're good enough to beat Winnipeg. So, but if Hellebuck struggles, we get a couple weak goals. That's all it's going to take to flip the series. It's not a huge mismatch, but it's a bit of a mismatch, I would say.
So St. Louis Blues to win the series in 6 is plus 600.
Okay.
Blues 4-2, so nice price on there. And Jimmy Snuggerud to lead the series in goals, 28-1. That's how we win this series, baby. Couple Snuggie hat tricks.
Well, I mean, that would be amazing. I don't know how realistic that is, but see, that's the problem. Like, this kid was playing college hockey 2 weeks ago. Now he's on our top line, and we're going to need him to score. And that's a lot to ask that kid, you know?
Yeah, I mean, this tells you a lot about the series. So the number 1, 2, and 3 players to lead the series in goals are all Jets.
Yeah.
But then 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8 are all Blues.
Yeah.
So, like, can the 4 through 8 for the Blues outscore that 1 through 3 for the Jets? To me, that's a big part of this, and we'll see how Hellebuck is, because that is the big question: is you're going to get playoff Hellebuck or regular season Hellebuck? Because regular season Hellebuck beats us. Playoff Hellebuck, we are live.
Yeah. Look, I mean, we're going to have to get playoff Hellebuck, and we're going to have to get playoff Bennington. Like, yeah. If that happens, the series is even, and it will see. You know.
And I got good news for you, Aaron.
Okay.
They'll be playing in the playoffs.
Well, that is the best news. Yes,
so very likely that we get playoff versions of, I would say, past precedent says we get playoff versions of those goalies.
I think Hellebuck will play a little bit better.
Yeah.
Than he usually does in the playoffs this year. I think he's grown as a goalie. That's my worry, because we know he's a good goalie. It's just he hasn't come through in the big moments. I think he'll play better.
And he was better in the Four Nations. I thought he was good in the Four Nations. So, now he will be having nightmares of Jimmy Snuggerud after game 1 in the hat trick that he piles into the net. But, what can you do, right?
Well, and let's just face the facts. He's got a Jordan Bennington problem. Bennington owns him. So when it counts, Bennington owns him.
Best bet for any round 1 series?
I think Vegas minus a game and a half and Carolina minus a game and a half. Those are the two.
I agree with you on both. Give me the Kings plus 115.
I took the Kings.
I think they exercised those Oilers demons. I was doing more research into the Oilers today. They are banged up.
They're wrecked.
Ekblad out for the season. Kane out for this round. Kane out for the seasons. You lost Holloway. You lost Broberg during the offseason. We don't know what we're going to see from Draisaitl yet. There's no depth on this team at all, and the Kings can roll lines against you. I think the Kings at plus 115 is a pretty nice price.
I think because of the injuries and the problems, I think the Kings will slow them down better than they've been able to in the past. And like I said, the Kings have 4 good lines. They got good defensive depth. Goaltending's playing pretty well. They're tough to beat at home. They have home advantage. And they're playing great. The Kings are playing great right now.
17-4 in their last 21.
I know. They've been awesome. Yep.
Yeah. Pretty good.
I'm with you. On
what round did the Caps get eliminated in?
Second.
Agree.
Second round.
Yeah.
I don't buy them long term.
I don't buy them once you have to really get into the haymakers of series, right? And that specifically to me is, like Carolina, I think beats New Jersey. I think Carolina is a very, very good hockey club. And then if you do get past them, my mind, you're taking on the winner of Florida and Tampa Bay, and that's your Eastern Conference representative.
Yep. I agree with that. I think that'll be a great series. Florida, Tampa, I didn't touch it. It's going to be – there's too much unknown. We don't know enough about the Panthers and who they actually are going to be in that series. If I knew for sure the Panthers had all their players and they were going to get back to where they were like before the Four Nations, I would take the Panthers, but I don't know. I don't know if you can gel that quickly or not.
Give me the Lightning.
Yeah, well, look, they're gonna even if the Panthers are healthy, that's a tough series. They hate each other. It's a grudge match. I mean, I'm with
Lightning,
you.
most goals scored in the Eastern Conference, least goals against, number 2 power play in the NHL, and the Panthers are the most penalized team in the sport.
Yep,
that's not good, not good, especially for a team that has a lot of question marks around health.
Do you give Ottawa any chance to beat Toronto?
I think Montreal has a better shot of beating the Caps.
Yeah, I think you're right there. Ottawa gives up a lot of shots, a lot.
Yeah,
and I just feel like with those scores, they're going to get some goals.
It feels like there's like maybe that's a 4-2 type series, and the 4 games that the Leafs win, they score 6 goals a game. Yeah. Like they just pour it in those ones.
Yeah, in the games they lose, they outshoot them like 42-25, and they lose
3-2. Yeah,
exactly. Because Olmark stands on his freaking head. Yeah. He's had a great season, so he can do that. Yeah. All right. Well, listen. Here's good news. If you want more Samich and I've got great news for you. You can see us tomorrow, Friday, 2:15 Eastern. We will be. That's right. Yeah, 2:15 Eastern. We'll be on the air for our regular Triple Crown VEASAN Road to the Triple Crown, or excuse me, VEASAN Road to the Kentucky Derby. This is why you're going to host these next shows, Samich, because
it's actually called VEASAN at the Track Road to the Kentucky Derby. But you were close. Maybe
if we're on television, that's why he hosts. Okay. But now, and then we're on, I'm going to let you do it. I don't know the name of the show. Saturday and Sunday, if you want us to talk sports, Samich and I are going to be on live on VEASAN for 3 hours each day. Tell us where you can find us.
Ready, set, bet. 1 o'clock Eastern, 10 o'clock Pacific, 3 hours. Aaron and I will be hosting the show on VEASAN proper. If you have YouTube TV, you can check it out on there. If you have a YouTube subscription, you can check it out on your YouTube at VEASAN Live there. Also going to be on channel 158 on SiriusXM. We'll be talking everything NBA playoffs, NHL playoffs. We'll be talking a little Major League Baseball. Of course, we'll bring up some ponies as well. Be packed 3 hours both those days. Oh, don't forget the NFL draft right around the corner as well. So a couple loaded shows there. Over there, 1 o'clock Eastern, 10 o'clock Pacific, Saturday and Sunday. Mr. Halterman and I. Look at you.
Yes, I know. They were bragging on me last night. Like, this is a big deal. You got this Derby show coming up, too, that's going to be simulcast on like 100 different things. I was like, all right, cool. Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, I'm actually pumped. Channel 158. Channel 158 is VEASAN's channel. Aaron and I will also be doing on the Kentucky Derby Saturday. We will be on Mad Dog Sports Radio as well as on VEASAN Channel 158 on SiriusXM, covering the Kentucky Derby, taking you right up to it. That's going to be 4 o'clock Eastern to 4 to 7 Eastern, 1 to 4 Pacific. So we will be all over the airwaves on Kentucky Derby Saturday as well if you're looking for our opinions.
I am looking forward to all of this that you just said. I'm very thankful that I'm able to do all of it as well. I think all those are going to be fun. We've been having a good time on the road to Kentucky Derby. And then we're going to be on actually Kentucky Derby, and we got this stuff this weekend. I mean, it's going to be awesome. I'm very thankful. Fun. Heather said to answer it like that. I was like, yeah, I'm excited. She goes, you should have answered last night that you're thankful as well. I was like, you're right. So I would do it now. I'll start.
So quite the glow up. Quite the glow up. I might have to get you a suit.
I've been thinking about that for the Derby thing, maybe. Right?
Yeah.
I think I can get away with like polos this weekend, but the Derby thing, yeah, I may need a tie or something. So. Yeah.
I'm going to make fun of you if you wear a t-shirt underneath that polo this weekend. Just warning you now.
Well, that's good content. We could fill 12 minutes there, Samich. All right. I'm wearing an undershirt, no doubt. Okay. All right. We got to go. We're going to get out of here. Thanks everybody for watching this week. We'll be, like I said, we just told you how you can see us all weekend long. So if you get lonely, need somebody to talk to, come on to any of those shows. All right, guys. We'll see you next week. Good luck, everybody. Good luck this weekend, and hopefully we all cash.
The Magic Mike Show, where you hear the experts speak. The Magic Mike Show. Tune into the show every week. The Magic Mike Show. You can trust the show is the bomb because it's being brought to you by RacingDudes.com.